So, let me tell you a really sad story. I failed one of my big exams. And if you know me, I'm not really someone who fails easily. And it's one of the rare occasions if I do fail. And in this exam was one of the biggest and hardest exam that we had. And it didn't turn out as what I expected it to be. But, now that I look back at it, it's like that exam wasn't even hard. The exam itself was very, simple, you could say. But what went wrong was not the exam, but it was me. I think the problem was that I don't know actually. There's a few problems that could have went. So one was because people were telling me for this specific exam, it was like an interview basically. So this interview was, people were telling me, even my professors was telling me, just stick to the basics, answer just simple answers, and don't go too deep. And that was my main approach. Another approach they told me was, if you don't know the answer, just stay quiet and basically don't answer anything wrong, or else you'll get it wrong. So the best case scenario is just to just stay quiet if you don't know the answer. So that was my main two approach. But the problem with that was it kind of limited me. It made me hold back from what I know, and it made me hold back from the knowledge that I have. And in the end, it didn't turn out, like I said, it didn't turn out the way I expected it to be. Because I feel like I could have done way better, and I could have directed the exam into a better outcome, really. But then again, it's already been, 1 week, I guess. Less than a week actually, maybe 5-6 days since that big exam. And now that I look back at it, it was definitely a learning lesson that if you have the capacity, if you have the knowledge, don't hold yourself back from what you know. Use your capacity, use everything you have, and don't waste your potential, don't limit yourself basically. If you know it, you know it. And don't play the safe game, which I did, and it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to be. But in the end, it was definitely something that I could learn from. And I know that many of you will probably be facing similar scenarios or similar cases where you felt failure basically, and you felt frustrated, annoyed at an exam or at any test that you may be going through or you've been through. And I think the most important thing that we need to understand is just bouncing back from our mistakes and learning from it. And one thing I need to tell you guys as well is to not be afraid of failing. Because like I said, that when I failed that exam, I don't usually fail, right? But when I failed that exam, it just made me realize what I could have done and how much I know in that exam. Like I really did, I knew like many things. I was doing so fine, like I was doing really well. It was just at the last part where I got stuck, and since people have been telling me if you don't know an answer, just stay quiet. But I could have explained other things that could have helped me to pass. So that's why I'm saying so that's what I'm saying. Like if wait, what was I saying actually? I forgot. I'm really bad at this. Okay. So like I was saying, don't be afraid to fail. Take it as a learning curve and bounce back from it. And believe me, there's many chances you can take to bounce back from it. And same with me, I have many retakes that I could deal with this exam. And obviously I'm not gonna try to do as many retakes. I will make sure I'll try do just one retake and just pass the exam. And other than that, it just shows where I am with my knowledge, really, and how much I can do with the knowledge I have. But to be honest, even before the exam, like I wasn't even afraid to fail. Like I had a feeling things like this could happen. But at the same time, like when it did happen, obviously it felt very frustrating. Like I was surprised because people were shocked, like as well. Like they thought I wasn't gonna fail. They thought I was one of the only ones. Even my professor, she was the one that told my group that only one or two of you will pass the exam. And it was because out of everyone in my group, I was one of the only ones that managed to enter the final exam from the midterms. And she basically like had faith that I would pass the exam. But in the end, like she was very, not disappointed, but more of surprise and sad that I failed an exam like that. And obviously she couldn't do anything. It wasn't her fault. So she's not to blame for it. It was more of me like holding myself back from it. But in the end, it's just an exam. It's not your whole career. It's not the end of your career. Well, hopefully not, at least in your case. I do hope for the best in your case as well. And obviously I do hope you pass and do well for whatever struggles you're going through in exam tests. But then again, if failure does come, don't be afraid to fail. It's completely normal. Even the most successful people fail many times. They've probably told everyone out there that failing is part of the process. It's part of the mistakes that they learn from. And in the end, they become a lot better than they were previously. And it just makes you a totally different person. And that's why I was telling my brother, like next semester when I have the same exam with the same professor, I told him, like, mark my words, I understand it now, and I'm gonna pass that exam. Not only pass the exam, but do really well and impress my professor with the outcome. So it's just that confidence that I just built myself, because I know failure is totally normal. It happens. And it just made me realize that even if I fail, I can always do it again and do it better. So that's why I'm saying, don't be afraid to fail. It's totally normal. Everyone failed in their life. And that's also why I want to talk about this topic, to not be afraid of failure, because like I said earlier, I wasn't really the type of guy to fail. And I've never actually failed an exam in this medical, 3 years of medicine so far. And I was really surprised I failed something. And it was such a big hit, because I've always had a really high standards of myself and a high standard of basically passing every exam and not failing. And it took me by surprise that that anything could happen, and that failing is possible, even to the most top students that I know in this uni as well. Like, I know people that are top students and they failed. It's totally normal. So in the end, it's how you bounce back from it and how much you learn from your mistakes. So that's yeah. And I made this a quick toast and jam. It's gone cold now because of how much I've been talking. But thankfully though, so this semester we had 2 big exams. One was semiology and one was surgery. Semiology was the one I failed at. But surgery, by a miracle, I passed. I was actually really frustrated. I was more angry at my surgery exam, because from the answers I said, it was also an interview, from the answers I said, the surgery professor said it was wrong so many times. Like, I said something, I said the definition, it was wrong. I said an example, it was wrong. I said something else, it was wrong. So I was, at that point, I was like super angry. I was like, you know what? I wasn't even like halfway through yet from saying all my answers. So I didn't want it to end there. So I continued just speaking, just say like whatever I needed to say until I finish speaking. Because if he says it's wrong and you stop there, then he'll most likely fail you. So I thought, you know what, I'm not failing again. I'm going to continue answering as much as I can. And in the end, I managed to say the right things, obviously. I managed to say more right things than the wrong things. So that made me be in the safe zone, and then I ended up passing the exam. But it was just so frustrating. Like, all the stress was there, the frustration was there, the fight or flight response was there because it was an exam, and also the anger was there because I already failed the exam like 2 days before that, and I'm not failing again. So all the emotions were like put in at that one moment. And you know what? My heart rate as well, it was so high. Everyone could hear it. Even my colleagues felt it as well. It was like boom, 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 boom. And it wasn't like a normal increased heart rate. It wasn't like 120, it wasn't like 130. It was like 188 heart rate. Like, I checked my Apple Watch afterwards. I was like, damn, 188 heart rate. Can you believe it, bro? I was so shocked. I was like, oh my gosh. That was like a danger zone. But as soon as as soon as the exam finished, like as soon as I walked out the room, I wanted to scream so badly. I was like, yes, finally, like I actually passed one of the biggest exams, at least. Like, I just wanted to scream, man. It was just all that anger, all that fight or flight, that stress, like everything all put in one. And I just wanted to let it out. Obviously, I didn't want to let it out to the professor because, you know, he's the professor. So That was crazy. 188 heart rate. I would have thought. But I'm okay. I'm okay now. It is what it is. But like I said, don't be afraid to fail. You can bounce back from it. And don't limit yourself. Like what I did. If you know it, go for it. And yeah, don't stop there. Just continue. Say like in my surgery exam, I didn't stop there. I just kept continuing. Like I was angry, but I continued answering because I really wanted to pass. And in the end, I passed. So thanks for letting me speak and watching me eat my toast with jam. But anyways, good luck to your exams, your tests, your finals, whatever it is. Good luck for that.